Hey everyone, it's Tammy here. I was on vacation recently and I asked the Lord before I got my day started, Lord, what do you want me to read? Um, and He told me Hebrews 4. I said, okay. So as soon as I got to it, it was talking about the believer's rest. I'm using the Amplified right now, and that's what it was titled. That passage of Hebrews 4, it said the believer's rest. And I was like, that's so good. And that typically happens, I think, whenever we're on a vacation. The Lord shows us something because that's how He does His timing. So whenever I was reading it, I I remember this revelation come over me, and I was just like, it's so powerful, and it's quite amazing. So the believer's rest, it's talking about a faith rest. So which is the opposite of disobedience and unbelief, or unbelief based on disobedience. I read that somewhere in here. So it talks about God resting. I actually wanted to read one of these footnotes. I think that's what those are called. The theme of rest. This is 4:4, where it talks about when God rested on the seventh day, right? It says the theme of rest has its beginning in God's own rest after creation. The fact that Genesis makes no mention of the evening of the seventh day of creation provides a basis for some Jewish commenters to conclude that the rest of God lasts throughout all history. So I just read that today, actually, in the footnote, and I was like, that's good. That ties everything that the revelation that I was getting. It ties it all together because at one point, I think it's in verse 7, it talks about he again sets a definite day, a new today, it says, providing another opportunity to enter that rest by saying through David, after so long a time, just has been said before in the words already quoted. So he says, today, hear his voice. Hear his voice is entering into his rest, hearing him and then being in him. This is entering into his rest. It's not, it even mentions the Sabbath in here. And so that led me to the Sabbath and what is taught about the Sabbath, taking a Sabbath, and Sabbath, the particular day that it's on, all of these different things about the Sabbath. And I know all about the Sabbath. I need my rest. I for sure take my time of rest every week. But it's not about what we can do for ourselves. It's not about mandating this rest because of a religion says so, or because we have decided because of what we've been taught, or whatever the reason be. If it's Saturday, if it's Sunday, if you take your rest on a Thursday, that is all, I feel like small thoughts. The revelation that I mostly got was whenever you enter into this rest, God's rest, your faith rest, the rest will align. So instead of me having to say, I'm resting on this day and I'm going to force myself to do this and making sure blah, 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 I am making all of those things happen. But whenever I enter into His rest, and I truly do that, into that faith rest, I'm no longer going to rely on what I think I need to do, on my plans, on my rest, or whatever else that I feel like I need to do. My obedience is going to come from listening to the Father, and He will line it out. Once I get that faith rest, the rest will fall into alignment, and I will know when to rest physically. I will know when to move. I will know when to stop. I will know all of those things because of obedience, because of that faith rest. That was the biggest revelation I got from this, and I still haven't fully processed it, I don't think. Whenever I read all of Hebrews 4, I feel like I need to read it again and again, and go ahead and do a full-on study on it, just because I don't feel like it's fully comprehended. But that's okay, and I don't mind taking some time on that. But I wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that it was amazing. The revelation He showed me on the Sabbath rest, on the Saturday rest, or whatever day that you're going to take your rest, rather than mandating this time that you have decided for yourself, listening to the Lord because you're in that right alignment, because you've stepped into that faith rest. So hopefully you've been able to get something from this rambling, and are able to take your study a little bit further into the faith rest, and the opposite of that, unbelief and disobedience, and then let that carry over into your weekly rest, your yearly rest, all of these other things, so that it can be according to his timing. So y'all have a blessed day, and thanks for listening.